Yoy!
I'm not gonna worry about your level of concern.
Yoy and double yoy!
We talking about Twitter.
Triple yoy!
Think of how stupid the average person is, and then realize half of them are stupider than that.
Quadruple yoy!
We want them to be fat and sassy and spoiled. I laugh at that.
Let Matt Canada cook.
That's what I was looking for. All right, it is what Jin's talking about. The conversation about the Steelers, social media conversation. And I was wondering, like, why is the conversation so? It seems like this is especially bad this year. Mm-hmm. And I found some data. Right? It was some article probably from BuzzFeed or something. I don't know.
Deep in your research.
Yeah, but it was something that was like the most disinformation that's spread on Twitter is just like people with blue check marks now.
Yes, that's exactly what's happened since the turnover.
So it's like it's not just that Steeler tweets are pretty bad, filled with disinformation.
Yes,
it's just in general, but it also applies to Steelers.
Oh yeah, no, the Steelers are just one extra part of that. As everything becomes worse and worse, so too does the fan base for the black and gold.
Yeah, it's still a trash pile. You're still playing in a trash pile.
Yes. It's just now they put the trash at the top.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Oh, did I introduce myself? I'm Kyle Kreis. I'm here with Greg Benevins.
Hello.
And we have no help on the. I'm doing this on my own. Can I do everything on my own? I'm like the Inspector Gadget.
Hey, we're like the Steelers. We dressed 52 people today, not 53, just like Sunday.
Yeah, no third emergency QB on this roster.
Oh no.
But plenty of anything to tease in the second half? I don't know.
It should be in a better world. We're teasing more good feeling after the best win of the year.
It's not that there was more good feeling this week, but there was less noise. It got silenter. It was like there was a calming in the force. And it was palatable. It was noticeable this week.
Absolutely, yes. It's harder to be a hater when things are good, especially when I think a lot of the haters were genuinely shocked by this weekend.
Haters got quiet real quick, but luckily for us, we still found some pretty hot and toxic takes.
Luckily,
let's start with at Kevin Adams 26. Kevin Adams from the very literal terrible tailgate. I'd rather the Steelers win while they suck over losing while they're great. It's not pretty, but it counts all the same. If the offense can't figure it out, can we compete? For what? I have no idea, but today is fun. It's like for people weren't. I mean, people were happy for the win, but it was not giving credit for the. No one wanted to give any kind of credit for the win. Does that make sense?
It does. I thought this tweet was fascinating. I'm glad you started with it because this man rationalized his way into an epiphany. Like he found his way into something true. He figured out sports fandom at whatever his age is. We can compete for what? I have no idea. But today is fun. That's the whole point. Yeah. Today should be fun. It's great if they win while they suck. That's the whole point. This is supposed to be fun. Congratulations on understanding sports.
You can keep my tombstone or whatever. I'll take the W.
Yeah, take the W. Okay, how about trying to do too much at once?
You are a machine.
Let's go to at Steelers Forever 1933 Black and Gold. I don't think most people would call the Steelers a good team, yet the old saying goes, good teams find a way to win close games, bad teams find a way to lose them. So what are they? I'm not sure yet, but they are starting to trend in the right direction. Yeah, 4-2 is a pretty good direction, if you ask me. That's always a good trending direction.
Absolutely. And also, too, so what are they? I'm not sure yet. Of course you're not sure yet. There's been 6 games. You can't be sure yet. It's the things seem like they're picking up, but again, it's that we're through 1/3 of the season, just about.
That's not exactly
right. Though, no, because we have this stupid 17 schedule.
So the question is, can I keep my earphones in my ear? The question is at the Steelers Wire. Are the Steelers good? With 1,100 votes, we've got yes, 51%.
Wow.
No, 49%. The optimists are representing.
Well, the optimists, the silent majority, has finally spoken up of the optimists. That this is the optimists. They've been in hiding, or at least they certainly haven't been posting on any of the social media feeds that we see. But they finally found their way in.
Where are these 51%ers? I want to be following you on your timeline. I'm going to I'm like, all right, let's just get off Twitter let's see what's on Threads. Let's see what's on Blue Sky, but the numbers are just not there yet. It's and so where are these 51%ers that's voting on this?
I mean, it's
poll?
great to see, and that's what it should be. I mean, I can understand being like, I'm not sure if this team's, if this is a good team yet, but again, I have no idea how on earth you're quantifying a good team or not.
When has a 4-2 team not been a good team?
Right, exactly. I think I think these people equate, are the Steelers good to, are the Steelers the Kansas City Chiefs going into the Super Bowl? I think that's maybe how they're quantifying good, a lot of them. But so if that's the case, then maybe no. But 4-2, a team that's in the playoffs, if they were to start today, that's won, 8 of 11, 8 of their 11 games or something, I don't know, then yes, that's a good team.
Or should it be, are the Steelers well? Is that the proper? There's
the answer would absolutely be yes. Then they're 4-2.
Okay. Should we move on? Let's get the opinion of someone who knows.
Okay.
Like at Devlin Hodges 10. Devlin Hodges. Steelers are 4-2 this year, 11-4 over the last 15 games. You just said that. Steelers are a good football team, and damn it, Tomlin always finds a way to win. Well, hey, if he says we're a good football team, then I say we're a good football team.
I mean, and honestly, the man would know. He was on a good football team. I mean, and through no fault of his own, that team maybe didn't win some games, but he led to some wins that, man, maybe they shouldn't have had. So I'll take his word for it. And I got to be honest, I think I speak for more than a few Steeler fans at this point. I'm glad to see Duck landed on his feet. Like, he's going to be okay. Like that, you know what I mean? He seems like he's going to be fine. I'm glad to see that work.
Is he?
Out.
What's he? Is he just?
He's dating a country music star. That's the one thing I know. Well, I assume you're not doing that if you're like on unemployment.
Okay,
so you know what I mean? I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know. I would follow country music.
I'd love to see him on maybe the MTV Road Rules Challenge or something.
As someone that doesn't know nearly as much about that issue, that seems like the right place to see Devlin Duck Hodges in the year of our Lord 2024.
Or Survivor, I guess, if something more mainstream. I don't know.
I almost wonder if, and again, I don't watch that show, but wouldn't that be unfair? I mean, the man was a professional athlete. I mean, but I don't know.
Some of these shows they get D1 athletes at least.
Oh wow, so, then yeah, which he was not very famously. So yeah.
All right. Well, geez, have we still answered the question if we're good or not yet? How about at what do we got here? At Scarpizio Scarps. Steelers are now 4-0 in 2023 in one-score games, 63-32-2. Since 2014, that includes postseason. During this time, they're 36-28 in non-one-score games. So basically, if the closer the game is, the better we get, or something.
Wow. Or else just if if one team gets any kind of significant double-digit lead, everything absolutely it becomes far wilder. Whether their Steelers are up by 10, up by more than 9, or down by more than 9.
Yeah, don't keep us in the game because then that's how you lose. I don't know.
That's exactly right. And that's something I thought of after this game. I kept thinking of the game the Steelers lost to the Patriots last year because they made a couple too many mistakes, and maybe that's what happens. Maybe that's how you lose to the Steelers now. You make the mistakes at the wrong time, and maybe you make a couple too many of them, and that's how you end up, complaining about ball spotting in the final drive or some nonsense. Like,
We don't worry about the Joneses.
Yeah, well, we'll take care of business at home. Well, let's get a little different perspective. I don't know if this is a secret hater or not, but we got at KD Bob Pompiani. Steelers are one of the luckiest teams in the NFL. Ravens 7 drops. Mar 3 missed kicks today. Can you play the what if game? Like, if we could be 0-5 or 5-0 then, right? Or whatever.
If the other team caught all of the lucky breaks, then yes, the Steelers would lose. I feel that I'm confident in saying that. I don't believe that Pompiani's a hater, having seen him for too many decades at this point. I thought again about the Ravens drops after that one drive in the first quarter where Pickens was open over Kella Witherspoon, which the Steelers realized, well, that's a good matchup to use as much as possible, and Kenny just missed him. I mean, a good throw, and it's a touchdown early on, and I'm thinking, okay, why is that not the same as one of these drops? I mean, he was wide open.
Yeah.
He catches it and straight, Kenny throws a better pass. That's a touchdown. So that made me feel far less like the Steelers caught lucky breaks in these guys dropping these passes, which again, I'm not sure how much of that really was luck and how much not a Raven wanting to get absolutely hit.
Good. That's a good point. Okay. So it's to be determined whether or not we're good or not, I guess. Still.
But 4-2, that feels good to me. I feel well today.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. 4-2, 5-2 would be real nice. This is it's a conference game. It's a big.
And also, so many weird things happen traditionally when the Steelers play Jacksonville. I mean, across generations of Jaguars at this point.
This is true. Okay. Well. We still have enemy number 1 or not? Are we gonna? Can we hit the? Can we still blame Canada, or do I want to? Does someone else have something else? Something else have a different opinion? Oh, come on! Where's the sound?
Are we going to give Matt Canada praise? Are we going to give Matt Canada praise? Are we going to give?
Okay, get it on repeat.
He sounds so mad.
Are we going to give Matt Canada praise?
It's so righteous, that tone of his. That
if Ben wants atonement, and so do I. Let's get to the Canada takes. Are people asking for forgiveness? At Pirate 1775, Pirate, Matt Canada should get the game ball. In all fairness, are you giving Canada a game ball for that performance?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I kind of want to give it to the players first before giving it to the offensive coordinator, because I feel like if I'm doing that, then again, it's Tomlin doing that to show the haters. I mean, I'd still want to give it to Kenny, the guy that had a very bad first half and not the greatest third quarter, but I guess with Canada or however, just absolutely turned it on in the fourth. But at some point, I wouldn't, just as this week we got to see Canada do the most scripted "let's go" you'll ever see. I wouldn't mind seeing Canada cheering or shaking hands with the guys in the locker room. I wouldn't mind some of that content. He might not be a guy that does that, but I wouldn't mind some of that content.
Let Matt Canada cook.
Let him cook. Yeah, we need him and Boswell slapping butts or something.
Or even a Penguin game or something. The two of them go over. Yeah, something like that. Exactly. They're high five and they have some kind of elaborate handshake.
That would be, I guess, to have the fairy tale ending to this is Canada brings his family out to the arena or something, and everyone starts cheering for him, and it's like a big turnaround. That would be the.
I think that's how the Disney movie ends. Yes.
I was gonna say John Hughes, but yeah, maybe it's. Okay, we got some more Canada takes over here, do we?
There we go.
How about the Mad Genius at Mark Madden X? Mark Madden. Just rewatched the game. Canada's play calling in the fourth quarter was impeccable and had rhythm. Do we still want to fire him, or did Kenny change all the plays? Canada's 4-2 too, it's like every day there's about one a day that I seem to agree with Mark Madden.
Oh yeah, no, Madden and just like Filipponi will get to a point where if the Steelers are winning, troll with the correct opinion. Like that, which is, if you saw Filipponi after the game, it was amazing when he said, wow, the ref did a great job. Kenny was so much better than everyone else. It was, he came up with all these wonderful pro-Steeler trolling tweets, which were fantastic. But again, when you're a troll on a long enough timeline, you have to root for the team you have to have the pro team tweet to keep trolling. That's a lot of T's. That's why I was messing up all that alliteration. But everything Ben said here, regardless of intent, is correct. I mean, it's, everything worked in the fourth quarter. Everything, Canada's been 4-2 this whole time as well. Everything he's saying here is correct.
Well, and so it was also execution.
Yes.
We already said that earlier, but it's like
that's fine to say that again.
Was it an impeccable play calling, or did they, every play could be impeccable if they execute it?
They execute it, and hey, maybe and all that, the plays that didn't go so great in the first 3 quarters, maybe they had something to do with wearing those guys down too.
I believe it. Yeah, that sounds okay. That sounds right. Anyone else trying to give Canada their flowers? How about this? Nope. How about at PG Sports Now, Post-Gazette Sports? Some great coaching adjustments paved the way for the Steelers' second-half comeback on Sunday. Maybe that will stave off the Fire Canada chance for a while, or maybe not. This is from Ray Fittipaldo. Coaching adjustments. So we're saying this is a Tomlin victory? It's still kind of a Kenny victory. I think
it's if Kenny's the one that was getting a lot of the blame for it, Kenny should get some of the praise. This is the one where it's games like this that make us have to believe somewhat in the idea of second half adjustments. As much as we make fun of the idea, I mean, something definitively changed. Whether or not it was them executing better after the first half, between the second half and the first half, and particularly between the fourth quarter and the first half. Again, if Fittipaldi really wanted to get traded, he posted a picture of, what is this, Herbig or someone, and Tomlin. This should have been the picture of smiling Canada with the hat again. I mean, that's what this tweet needed.
That needs to become the, how he flips it back around. Canada
right,
brings
exactly.
it back.
It's Canada grinning at you. Yeah, that's what you needed.
The Canada meme, or maybe you get your Blame Canada sticker, or I don't know. I just sent out another one of those. Woo! So, whatever. Okay, how about this next? Where are we at? At Steelers win 109, Minka Bird Steelers. Also, if Canada continues to call games like he did in the second half, I have no problem with him. I just think we've seen enough to know he isn't it. But if he turns it around, I'm fine with him. But he must leave. But we should be rooting for him. But never. I mean, I have no problem with him either, as long as we win games.
I mean, I don't think it was till this tweet that I realized, being a hater also has stages of grief. This is working your way towards acceptance as a hater. This is you've worked through anger. Maybe this is kind of depression, but you're getting your way to acceptance. You were working your way through it. Yes, if he succeeds at his job, we'll be happy. That's it. You've actually finished sports talk.
That's a funny. Can we get a laugh? No, how about
you laugh?
I laughed.
You laughing was better than the machine. Yes.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Is that it with Canada? Is that all we have to say about? Oh no! Wait, we got one more. One more. Sorry.
Oh, I was wondering if this was coming up.
The tweet is from at Blitzberg. Giant Eagle are selling these cookie cakes that say "Fire Canada." This is a low down, dirty shame, if you ask me. Giant Eagle below the belt. Although if I showed up to the football party with the cookie cake, I'd probably be the only one eating it also. So.
Well, I'd heard there was also some rumors going around the internets that this was a rogue icing artist at a particular Giant Eagle doing this. But by that same token, I mean, it's, as much like you, I find this to be abhorrent and would not buy it. But by that same token, I do understand that Giant Eagle is not in the business of supporting the Steelers offense. They're in the business of selling cookie cakes. So, I mean, if this is moving product, it's hard for me to say they shouldn't be allowed to, they shouldn't do it. I mean, I can see the appeal from a perspective of capitalism, but yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah,
and also I don't have my glasses on, so I really thought those were like hard-boiled eggs or something around it. But
no,
that's
it's
icing,
just,
right?
Yeah, no, it's just icing flowers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Banksy of Giant Eagle, I guess, with the Fire Canada.
I mean, here's the thing. The other thing that makes me think this is just like one rogue guy is that you didn't see hundreds of Yinzers posting these pictures from their parties that weekend. or like from someone's birthday or from game day or something like that?
I saw a couple. So
you did?
So it
Okay.
was either the same store or
maybe it was
you know.
more prevalent than just one guy. I mean, who knows?
I don't know. Who knows? Okay. Well, let's why don't we take a break and
Okay.
head to the second half with maybe some music or something.
Okay.
Coming up in the second half, we still have a couple more offensive things to talk about.
Great.
Because we haven't really talked Kenny a ton. We didn't talk defense, and Ryan Clark is now following my lead.
I saw that.
I came up with, it was my idea first. I'm not saying it's my idea, but
No, but you were ahead of Ryan.
yes, I'm the Nostradamus of this. Okay, we'll figure out what that is in the second half of the show. Stay tuned for these messages. Oh, who are the people in Yin's neighborhood? In Yin's neighborhood, in Yin's neighborhood. Say, who are the people in Yin's neighborhood? The people who will tweet each day. Oh, hi there, fellow Yinzer.
Hello.
You look like a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
I've been a fan my entire life.
Wow, so who's your favorite player?
Just one? I don't know, maybe TJ or Minka or Najee.
Well, what about Coach?
Coach Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, the standard is the standard and things of that nature.
Tomlin should be fired.
Fired? Isn't that a bit much?
I don't think so. Oh, Tomlin is not the reason why he's never had a losing season. Just because he's won a Lombardi doesn't mean it wasn't Cowher's team.
'Cause a Tomlin hater, someone in Yin's neighborhood.
In his neighborhood, I'm in his neighborhood.
A Tomlin hater, someone in Yin's neighborhood. A person who will tweet each day.
I'll see you around.
All right.
Hey, watch it. Where you going? To a fire?
Ah, fire Tomlin.
Now cut that out.
Tomlin's not the problem.
Thank you.
The problem is the quarterback. This guy is the worst starting quarterback in Steelers history.
Well, we'll find out in camp.
Are you kidding me? The team's best hope is to tank and get the #1 pick.
Well, that kind of feels like hyperbole to me.
I'm the only one who's actually being realistic about this team. Oh, the Steelers really lost their way. I've been saying that like every day. I want everyone to look at me, so my opinion's always contrary.
'Cause a clout chaser is someone in Yin's neighborhood.
In Yin's neighborhood.
He's in Yin's neighborhood.
And Tomlin haters, someone in your neighborhood.
Well, they're the people that you meet
When you're scrolling through your tweets.
They're the people to delete each day. All right, it's the second half of what Jin's talking about.
It sure is. Kyle is like the running back that had 30 carries in the first half. Like, we are riding you this whole game. This is very much like a Bettis in 1998 kind of performance you're putting up here.
Yeah, that wouldn't want him on my fantasy team, but he might be okay on the goal line. He might have something to do with the tush push. Okay, we were talking about the offense. Get those Canada tweets away. How about the Kenny tweets? Because we are grooming Kenny.
That's right.
Where is it, man? Where's the sound? Oh my! There we go.
Oh my God!
Found it.
Groomed.
Kenny, you bastard!
All the effort for that. Was it worth it? I don't know.
I say groomed. I like mouth it now, just because I think you found Vincent Price or whoever it is that says that.
groomed. Let's get to some Kenny tweets. How about at Stats Guy Daniel? Kenny Pickett threw only one incomplete pass in the second half of the win over the Rams. 11 for 12, 152 yards. By far the cleanest half of Pickett's Steeler career. What does that mean? Does that mean that we've turned a corner? This is the new Kenny?
I mean, I'm too old to believe 100% the idea of turning a corner. I've seen too many games against too many teams, and I know, styles make the fight, and it's a different matchup each week. But man, if the idea of turning the corner exists, it's a performance like that.
That if there was going to be a storybook, that's how you'd write it.
If there's a corner that can be turned and it's not just a brick wall, then that's what it looks like.
Yeah, is this just another brick in the wall, or is it a actual door? Okay, how about let's get more specific. It's not just the second half, because as at Stephen E. Tom says, Stephen Thompson, Pickett went 7 for 7 for 138 yards in the fourth quarter. Steelers outscore Rams 14-0, outgained them 190 to 20 yards in the final frame. So if he had 152 yards in the second half, 138 in the fourth quarter, it means he only had like 18 in the third quarter.
The third quarter wasn't all that great either. They were running the ball more then too. But and by the way, Stafford was 0 for the fourth quarter in passing. And this is one more reason, I know we're talking about this, that I have no patience for the conversation about, Kenny didn't get that fourth down at the end. Right, so this team that got 20 yards in the fourth quarter and had no complete passes was going to go 60 yards with a minute left. Absolutely.
Yeah, good. That's a good point. Yeah. Well, hey, we were ready. We're ready for a TJ wins seals it game or something. I guess this kind of had that with the interception, but
right, but not at like the very, very end of the game.
Like not like Seattle last year, 2 years ago.
Seattle a couple years ago, yeah.
Anything more on Kenny? How about hit that button, please. At MP Frazier, Mike Frazier. Kenny Pickett now has more wins in the Pacific time zone just this year than Ben Roethlisberger had in his entire career. Not comparing the two, but just pointing out a curious stat. So he's already stepped out of Ben's shadows with the fourth quarter comebacks last season, and now he's stepping out of the shadow with the West Coast wins. Is there anything Ben can do that Ben can't do?
Well, I think this also shows just how few times in his career Ben played in the Pacific time zone. I mean, Ben never played a game in Nevada, which again is always kind of weird to think that that's in the Pacific time zone, even though it technically is. But yeah, I mean, the Steelers for years would struggle, and weird things would happen. That was the Terrell Pryor runs all the way.
Yeah.
That was that one game with the Niners. They were never really in. That was the Seattle game where Marcus Wheaton had like 1,000,000 yards, and Ben went out for the concussion and he came back, and there's so many weird things happened in what few Pacific Coast games that Ben played.
So this is a fluke stat?
No, I mean, hey, it's a well stat because they're 4-2, as we learned in the first half.
Enough about Kenny. There's other people on the offense, although not really. At oh, come on, go to this view. Thank you. At Fantaskippy, Jeffrey Benedict. George Pickens currently has 39.2% of the Steelers' receiving yards and 40% of their receiving touchdowns. That's Antonio Brown and Hines Ward percentages. I mean, that's if you look at the targets this past week, it was really just DJ and Pickens, and not Lenny Austin, not just one Allen Robinson.
They throw to Washington about as often as they throw to you and I.
Yeah. So this really is people could just. It really is just take down George Pickens and you shut down almost half of the offense right now.
Well, I think that's sort of what they tried to do, and I think it sort of got away from them when Kenny did start finding Deontay. I think that I think these numbers are going to go down some just off of a lot of this. I mean, George didn't score a touchdown this weekend just because it was all running, and it was and Kenny does have someone else to throw to. It was whereas he didn't have that once Deontay went down in the San Francisco game. So I will never speak again on the impact that Deontay Johnson has on this offense because it's obviously quite maximal.
Yes, that's true. That's a good point. And I don't have any sound to play for that.
Well, but
so.
you sang it more than covered it for me.
Okay, great. Enough offense, right? We can barely talk offense because it's not like it was all that much offense. Let's talk defense. And the tweet is from at Matthew Luciao 92. Matthew Luciao. TJ Watt joined Hall of Famer Lawrence Taylor as the only player since 1982 with 70 plus sacks and 7 plus interceptions over their first 7 seasons.
That's so wild.
So, Lawrence Taylor, obviously, first ballot Hall of Famer.
A genuine all-time great. I mean, I've only ever seen the highlights. That was well before I watched football. But I mean, the way people talk about LT is the same way people talk about Joe Green and similar talents.
Are you putting TJ Watt in that same conversation?
I don't have to. It happened. I mean, it doesn't matter. He needs no endorsement from me to use one of my favorite Tomlinisms. Watt is not in the all-time sacks because it's at the time because he's behind Reggie White or something. I don't think Reggie White had much in the way of interceptions, despite being a very, very tall man with big hands.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. How's about? Well, I don't have the quote. I meant to get the sound from Ryan Clark because Ryan Clark. I have the quote here is.
We don't have the sound because you already said it. Ryan Clark was simply repeating you.
Yes, I was starting this trend maybe before the season. Basically, he's like, yes, we have to include TJ Watt in this. I'm going to say this as being a Pittsburgh Steeler. He is one of the guys that is right now going to be talked about as the greatest Steeler of all time. Yes, that's the Lamberts, the Joe Greens, the Palomalus, all of these players that have gold jackets. TJ Watt is on that trajectory and on a trajectory to be the best ever. I'm not trying to say I told you so, but although he's on the trajectory, that's
yes.
really more accurate than to say that he's.
Yeah. I mean, it's again, and I think that I'm still on the thing of I too believe he's on that trajectory. I too believe he needs a ring for that to be, to get that elevation over guys like Levon Kirkland and all the other great Steeler and Pouncey Steeler greats and probable guys with Hall of Fame talent that didn't win championships. Obviously, TJ's a better player than both of those guys. But yeah, I mean, it's with these numbers, it's anytime you're it's only you and Lawrence Taylor, that's pretty select company.
Well, it's is he the greatest? So I looked up Jack Ham, and Jack Ham had 6 All-Pro seasons, and 8 Pro Bowl seasons. So I don't know where TJ's on that. Should I look it up real quick?
It's got to be pretty close. I mean, I doubt TJ made it his rookie season, so he's probably not too far from that.
5 Pro Bowls for Watt, but I think All-Pro only once or twice.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm not trying to do a live fact check in front of all of this.
Well, also you're managing 3 other things, so I mean that's perhaps we finally exceeded even your grasp. But it's again the trajectory. There are more teams, there are more linebackers than there were when Ham played. It's a very different sport. Not to denigrate Jack Ham by any means whatsoever, my word. But the trajectory comment is right. You'll notice the Steelers start winning, everyone gets a lot more sensible.
Just barely. Just barely. How about, let's go back to the tweets. How about by Josh Carney. Steelers rookie cornerback Joey Porter Jr. was not charged with the reception against on Sunday. That means the Penn State product has now just allowed 1 reception on 10 targets this season. He has 2 passes defended and an interception on the year. Lockdown numbers from the rookie. Hey, I'm rooting for him just as much, but lockdown numbers on 10 targets? I don't know if that's necessarily the biggest sample size to define the season so far.
I agree with you 100%. And I'd also like you to piggyback on that. Every time I see these stats, I think, wow, I have no idea how we determine this. Because, again, they did a great job against Cooper Kupp, a receiver that very well might be going to the Hall of Fame, but they kept him out of the end zone for the most part. But that Puka guy was running everywhere. The other rookie, who now looks like Jamar Chase, at same kind of rookie season. So I'm assuming Porter wasn't on him that much or ever, or they didn't throw to him when he was there. Because, it seemed like they were making a lot of catches, particularly, well, in the first 3 quarters they were, because they sure weren't in the fourth. So So maybe that's when a lot of this started to rear its head.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, I'm happy with his progression. I don't need him to be, a 60 snap starter yet.
But he is. I mean, it was over 50 snaps in this game. I mean, I think I don't know if we might be into that range of necessity being the mother of invention here in terms of the other options aren't so great. So Joey's going to be the starter by omission.
Let's, or unless we go to at the Betts 93, Jeremy Betts, the Steelers must trade for a second cornerback before the deadline. It's not debatable. You feel a lot better about the secondary if P2 is your third cornerback. Wallace can just be cut. James Pierre can't be worse. Are we gonna? I don't think at this moment of recording, we're not upgrading anything right now.
I'd be surprised. I mean, having been around, I would take exception with the line James Pierre can't be worse. Yes, he can. I've seen James Pierre play. They did more or less bench Wallace in that second half. I mean, he did not get out there much. I don't think you're going to see as much of him going forward. So, I mean, I don't think they're going to upgrade corner, but this is not like an impossible scenario that we see less and less of Wallace. I mean, we talk about the Steelers don't, they keep these guys around and all that, but maybe they don't. I mean, they were so desperate to cut Gunner, they went out there with 52 guys on Sunday. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, this idea that they just leave deadweight around forever isn't necessarily the case.
Right. They're like, oh, you don't have to cut anyone. Like, sorry, Gunner.
Right. Exactly. We just did. Like, yeah.
Really, I can still come out there and get In-N-Out Burger.
Right. Yeah. No. We're not even pegged for the plane travel on the cap. Yeah. We're going out there with 52 dudes.
Okay. If we come to that time.
Have we? Hey.
Why don't we? Gunner Olszewski.
That'll be the last time we say that on the show.
Right. All right. Let's do the final word to.
Okay.
At Brendan Fajoko.
Mm-hmm.
Brendan Fajoko. Post-game flight snack. Whataburger, I miss ya. Although it's not Whataburger in the pick. They got a ton of In-N-Out Burger.
Oh, okay.
So I did the forensics on the picture here. So they got these trays of 8 burgers in a tray.
Okay.
And they're in these bigger boxes that seem to hold 6 to 8 trays.
Wow.
So that's a lot of In-N-Out. Now,
so that's like 50 burgers?
No, I put it between, well, it depends. If there's 6 boxes in the big box, then it's 96 burgers. If there's 8 boxes in the big box, then that's 128 burgers.
Which is about right for 53 players plus staff, and I don't know if the practice squad travels, so everyone gets 2 burgers. Boy, now you say it almost seems too low. You only get 2 burgers. But then again, like, how many burgers is Pickens having? Like, then again, I don't know. His metabolism can probably make it evaporate.
Yeah, not everyone is getting 2 burgers, I guess.
I suppose. But now I'm also thinking, like, maybe Larry Ogunjobi can have 3 burgers. You know what I mean? Like, it's say Malu, like.
Or, like me, like I don't necessarily love like that big tomato slice, or I kind of just like mine plain.
Okay.
So like, would I like have to make a deal? Like, hey, there's only 1 box of plains here. Can I get?
Oh, just like if it was like if you got several pizzas, like, hey, would I want 1 pepperoni, 1 not? That makes a lot of sense. There'd have to be some kind of wheeling and dealing on the plane.
And yeah, is there an order on how you get on the plane? Because if you're the last to get on, because look,
that's true.
Like someone like Brendan Fajoko, who is
he didn't
dress, so he's probably one of the first to get there. He's guaranteed to get his In-N-Out.
Right, but also now you got to think like maybe I should leave these burgers in case like Joey Porter Jr. wants one, or Kenny, or Najee,
or Mace.
Right.
He's been carrying that.
But I can't see Mace being like, it's time to have 3 In-N-Out burgers. I mean, his brother lives out here. Like,
well, that's what I care about. How do you even prepare 100? If it was 128 burgers, how do you call up and say, "Hey, I need 128 burgers ready at 11 p.m."
I imagine you call like when the game is still in doubt at the latest. Like they didn't know if those burgers were going to be for a team that won or lost this game.
They can't all be made fresh. I'm guessing it's coming from in and out near the LAX.
That makes the most sense. Yeah. So,
when I worked at the McDonald's that served the first Big Mac in Uniontown, Pennsylvania,
represent.
We'd be like, oh, we got a bus. It would be like a big stress day. Like, oh, there's a bus. We got a bus.
Okay.
But I can't imagine 128 burgers for an NFL football
Especially
team.
on a Sunday, when it's going to be busy anyway. I mean, kids, families, NFL Sunday, people just watching games. Yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely getting called in when that order comes in. They all can't be fresh. Some of them have to be cold, right?
I would assume. It's been a minute since I had fast food, but yeah. The analysis you need.
All right. How about that? Seems to be what we've been talking about, right, Coach?
That's what we've been talking about.
Thank you. Appreciate everyone who enjoyed the song last week.
It was great.
That got some love on Reddit and a little bit on Twitter, but
and deservedly so. It deserved far more love than it got. But the fact that it got love showed that, again, that silent majority, those 51%, they're out there. They are. They're looking for something.
They're looking for Billy Joel song parodies based on Steelers. Although one of the comments on Reddit was, wasn't in order, chronological order. It's like, God. And then, of course, that got like 10 upvotes.
Oh, yeah, thinking, no. But that's the most Reddit thing I've heard in some time.
But there were some good comments on Reddit, like, this is like the greatest thing ever, like stuff like that. So I took that to heart for about a day, and then went to the doctor, and everything was bad news. Okay, so yeah.
It's a very personal what Shin's talking about this evening. Yes.
Anyway, you can keep the conversation going on social media. I'm on TikTok at Kyle Kreis. Greg, are you on the internet?
Alas, I am. The Instagram at Greg Benevent. B as in Bravo, E-N-E, V as in Victory, E-N-T.
Until next week. After I don't know. I'm excited for this home.
I mean,
stand.
this looks like this is it's not hard not to be excited. They're 4-2 playing a 5-2 team. Two teams with a lot of talent. Let's see what happens.
And remember to listen to your coach.
Be their best selves. That's going to be required.
Stay in school.